scores. I'd go with the top 5, then you go highest score.
Hell yeah.
Okay, yeah.
What's up, guys? PFC 199. You guys got to hear the curtain pulled back a little bit, figuring out the order of the procession today. Let's get into it. You're here with me, Tiki, and Huss, talking about Premier League fantasy for matchday 11 coming up this weekend. Who to pick up, who to sell, who to keep, and who to take a risk on. But before we get into that, let's review matchday 10 fantasy. We're going to review the top scorers of last week. And I say scorers because there are 2 of them tied. One of them is back-to-back top scorer. Last week he had 92. He follows it up this week with 72. He's my cousin from South Africa, literally. Invictus FC, Thorny, absolutely doing work, man. Joined the league late. He's sitting in 81st place still, but he's got 164 points in 2 weeks. That's a hell of an opening. And then the other guy who's tied with him, FC Wombolo. What a name. Absolutely super African name. He's got one of those, he's got one of those special, like, characters again, dude. How are these guys doing this?
Yeah, those icon things.
Yeah, man.
I mean, look, here's the thing. Kevlar, Marty McFly, he's not telling us. So maybe we can count on our guy, D-Dun. D-Dun, right?
D-Dun. I would guess D-Dun.
Yeah, D-Dun.
Morodolu. D-Dun Morodolu.
Yeah, so Marty's not contacting us. So D-Dun, let us know how we get those icons because everyone should have these. These are nice.
D-Dun finishes with 72 points on the game week and 520 overall. He's currently sitting in 24th place and climbing. Huss, let's get into the top 5 for matchday 10.
Taking the lead, it's just back and forth with these guys. We got Wayne Powell. Wayne's winners. You got 51 points on the week. Got 586 total. That's pretty good. It's not crazy good when it comes down to the entire game, but for our league, he's obviously better than everyone else right now. So well done, Wayne.
Yep.
Rank 2, we got Kevlar Ravens. We just talked about you with the icon, Marty McFly. You don't tell us how we get that icon, so we're going after somebody else now. Come on, let us know. You get 31 points for the week. You get 572 total. So Wayne had a strong week at 20 points over Marty. So right now he is 14 points on top. So it's a nice little cushion right now. In 3rd place, we got Allah FC, Mohammed Helmi, 42 points on the week. Got 571. So Marty, you're looking at maybe 3rd place if you screw up this coming week because Muhammad is ready to take 2nd place from you. And then only 2 points below him, you got A, B, C, D, E, F, C, Sean Maroney, 54 points on the week. And then dropping a little bit more, but Evan Prosco with Liverpool Rules at 60 points. I'm not going to say his name. His team name sucks. Game week 60 total is 557.
That's dope, man. And let's get into the PFC host rankings. Struggle City, man. You got Huss sitting at 23rd and sliding with 35 points on the match day, 521 overall. Al got himself 55 points, sitting in 33rd place, and he's got 503 overall. Myself in 46th place took a bit of a slide, sitting there with 34 points and 482 overall. Fareed climbing above Tom into 62nd place with 47 points and 457 points overall. And Tom sitting bottom of the PFC host nation, or host nation, 66th place, 35 points this week. 453 overall. Some absolute dragging going on this week, but I blame it on the week, man. The big names didn't score, or at least the big names I had didn't score. I wasn't very happy this week, so hopefully week 11, match day 11 will be a lot better.
Well, the big thing with me was, especially with fantasy talk wise, Harry Kane not playing it killed the fantasy talk from last week, and I was thinking about because I just saw Kara with you, and we're talking about fantasy, and then we have Holly Williams, who is tied with me. I got to give a shout out to you, Vincent Company, the team name. I was giving you girls a hard time a little bit that 1st, 2nd week. You're now tied with me. I got, I gotta suck on that a little bit. You know what I mean? Just like hey, it is what it is. You're tied with me. Well done, Holly. Love that you're sticking around. We got Jeff Wall in 20th though. Isn't Jeff Wall and Holly? Aren't they the couple?
Yeah, they are.
I believe
so.
So. Yeah. A little rivalry going on right there. We got 4 points on her. So Holly, I'm coming at you. I mean, I've been having a really bad streak the last 4 weeks. I just seem to be stuck in the 30s. I just can't get out. I got cement shoes on right now. I just keep dipping.
It's all good, man. You'll get it back. You'll absolutely get it back, and this show will definitely help you get it back too. Let's talk about the buy, keep, sell, and risk results for last week, match day 10.
Okay, so we got favorable matchups right here. We got Stoke versus Leicester.
No, Huss.
Last week. I'm all over the place. I thought you said this week. I'm like, uh-oh. So last week we had the buys at 13. We got the keeps at 9. We had the sells. I don't even want to talk about this. We had the sells at 26. And then we had the risk at 18. And when it comes down to it, the sells, who'd we have? I know who we had for defense. That was Phil Jones. Big reason why I got the 9 points. Harry Kane wasn't playing. And that's also another reason why our keeps was they got killed. For the buys, Yoshida didn't play for Southampton. At one point, I thought they were going to get the clean sheet. Maybe if he was playing, they would have. They should have listened to me. But and then it's also karma too. I went against my boy, the one dude. I didn't sell him, but Pascal Gross. I went against my boy. I should have known better. You never go against the dude that you always pick up at the beginning. Just like how I do all the time. I always pick at that one guy, and I keep him for the whole show. What was it? We got Michu 1 year. I got Vardy that 1 year. I mean, and I shouldn't have said sell. That was karma coming back to bite me in the ass.
It was, man. The soccer gods obviously playing a little prank on you, man. It happens every week. There's always that one guy you're like, should I pick him up? Probably not. He's not going to do well. He goes off and gets the best score that week, or vice versa. You're like, this guy's guaranteed to get all the points, and he doesn't even play. So that's just part of being, in fantasy soccer, especially with the deadline here being, a full hour before the entire match day starts. It's not like game by game, and team sheets are released an hour before the game. So it's this weird position you're in where you kind of have to read the future. But that's why shows like these help, because we do a lot of research. We do our best to sort of get you that cutting information.
Yeah, and if we were talking about playing pranks on people, then Crystal Palace played a prank on me. That's why Chicha went off, got 9 points. Well, not went off, but he got 9 points because I really thought Palace has turned it around a little bit, but yet they haven't. Palace is, ugh.
Yeah, up and down, man, up and down. Let's get into this week, though. Match day 11. That's enough reminiscing of past glories and unfortunate incidents. Let's get into favorable and unfavorable matchups for match day 11.
Favorable matchups. We got Stoke versus Leicester. That sort of is a risky pick for favorable matchup, but I like it for the fact that I think Leicester. I don't know. I don't know if it's just because I have a soft spot for them because of what they did a couple seasons ago, and because I love Vardy. It just seems like when they want to score, they will score. When they're clicking, a team of Stoke will not beat them, and I feel like goals will be going in.
I like it.
West Ham versus Liverpool. Look, I'm not predicting Liverpool will beat West Ham because I think they will, but it's always one of those rocky matchups for Liverpool. But I can guarantee there'll be goals. Spurs versus Palace. Do I really have to even say why?
For Palace.
But you know what? I don't want to say that because last time I did that, I went off on Palace against Chelsea. They ended up beating them, and I looked like a fool. So you know what? Karma is going to bite me in the ass again, probably.
Let's just say there'll be lots of goals.
Yes.
And then it'll be a 0-0 game. Perfect.
City versus Arsenal. Look, I know that's a top matchup. I know that Arsenal is a good team. Not when it comes to City. I mean, Toomey, if you listen to all the episodes, Toomey was talking about how he can't wait for Arsenal to give City their first loss. Oh, my goodness. Well,
I don't know how they plan to do it. I don't know how any team except Jose's team, and it's not because I'm a United fan, but just I don't know how any of the team can beat City. Maybe Tottenham.
Don't worry about Liverpool, they were 1-0 before Mane got that red card.
Yeah,
So
that's a good shot.
But when it comes down to Arsenal, look, the defense is in shambles. I mean, they're looking better offensively, but defensively, it's the same thing. Czech's looking older and older weeks on weeks.
Yeah, yes.
Everton versus Watford. That also is a risk pick, but I think just from what these two teams, I feel like these teams either play low-scoring games or high-scoring games. So I'm favoring that it's going to be a high-scoring game. Both teams are a little iffy at the moment, so that I believe there's going to be some goals.
Cool.
Unfavorable matchups. We got Huddersfield versus West Brom. I just say that because, look, this is another risky pick because I don't exactly know, but I don't see either team really going off. West Brom, I mean, last year they showed some offensive glory, but this year, not so much. Huddersfield, same thing. Not too many goals for those guys. Newcastle versus Bournemouth. Newcastle, this one I was stuck on. I thought I was going to do favorable because I thought Newcastle was going to get goals, but Bournemouth, they can be sneaky sometimes, but they just haven't had that form yet. Southampton versus Burnley. Both teams, I think, defensively are well. I think both teams, I think they're very similar. Defensively good, offensively a little shaky. And the last one, have to go Chelsea United for unfavorable because this could very well be a 0-0, 1-1, 2-2, 3-3, 4-4. We don't know.
What are you playing? Zoomy over there?
Zoomy 1-1. But when it comes down to it, wait, they're at Stamford Bridge. So it's not like United's at home where they haven't even let a goal in, I don't think. So
yeah, it's tough, man. It's a tough matchup.
So I think that it's going to be goals, but I don't know how many. So it could be from a random player too. I feel like these type of games, it's always that random player that gets that goal. It could be from Aspie or Bakayoko. Just a random goal goes in, or maybe just like Juan Mata if he plays.
Cool.
So let's get into positions.
All right, in this section, we're going to talk about which players to buy, keep, sell, or risk this week. For each position, we're going to start with goalkeeper, move to defenders, midfielders, and then forwards, and then recommend a captain for you guys. Huss, take it away. Goalkeeper, buy.
Buying. So this one, I got Nick Pope.
Ooh.
Heard him of last week because he had the most points as a goalkeeper. But Burnley, they have Southampton away, Swansea home. Let's go into them real quick. I think we have them. Oh, I don't have that up at the moment, but let's just if you do look at the goal totals for these two teams, it's not very good. It really isn't. So Burnley, because they're so defensively sound, well, for the most part they are. They are still a little shaky depending on which game they are, but that's also why they're Burnley, not United.
Yeah, look, dude, Burnley's flying high, man. They're sitting in 7th place. Unfortunately, they have a goal difference of 0, so 9 goals given up and 9 goals scored. But they're capable of beating anyone on their day. You know, not because they're such a good team, but because Sean Dyche has them so well organized, so well drilled. And that goalkeeper, Pope, man, came out of nowhere. Tom Heaton gets hurt against Crystal Palace. Young Pope comes on Premier League debut game, makes a crazy kick save on a Benteke shot that should have been a goal that got Laudrup fired. That's why I remember it, because I'm still sour about Laudrup getting fired from Crystal Palace. And ever since then, he hasn't really skipped a beat, man. He's letting goals he's supposed to let in. You know, there haven't been any flubs. His confidence is high. His teammates trust him. He's a young kid, man, but he's absolutely killing it. I'm with you on this kid.
Yeah, I mean, Southampton, just going through some notes that I had. Southampton, what was it? 9. They have 9 goals for at home. They had a game with 3 goals, then they had a game with 2 goals. So a lot of the goals are getting bunched up. So when you see 9 goals, 9 for, 10 against, it's not so much that they're getting 9 goals in 9 games. It's just they're getting goals here, and then they're going and taking a break for 3 matches. And that's why I see them so inconsistent.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
And then one of the things about Nick Pope, he's 4.5. So as much as I want to say he's a great buy, I can't because he's a backup goalie. I would wish that he was 4, because if he is 4, there's a good chance I'm keeping him for a long while, because Heaton is the shoulder dislocation, so it's unknown when he's going to actually get back right now. So I would maybe even think about keeping Pope for the rest of the year, if not for probably
until Heaton comes back. Yeah.
Yeah. What, second week in December, because he got Southampton away, Swansea at home, Arsenal. Yeah, that's gonna be hard. But then they got Bournemouth, Leicester, Watford, Stoke, Brighton. So they have a good run. So you can't really hate Burnley, because they also have the defenders are looking pretty good for them as well.
Cool.
But that also takes into account that they don't lose their manager, because Sean Dyche, what isn't it? Dyche. There's a lot of talk that maybe he goes to Everton, but I don't think he's going. I think he's staying with Burnley.
Cool. Keep.
So keeper, we got Johannes Lossell from Huddersfield. I don't know how to say his name. It's because they have like the 2 dots over the O. I don't know how to pronounce that.
Lascelles. Similar to the Newcastle defender as well, who's also Lascelles. Very confusing, but I think it's Lascelles.
So, I mean, the next 2 games, Huddersfield is playing West Brom at home and then Bournemouth away. West Brom, let's get into West Brom. They have 9 goals for, 13 against. Going away from home, I think they only have 2 or 3 goals on the year. It's not very good. And then Bournemouth, they have been one of the worst teams this year. They're in relegation. They're sitting in 19th when everyone thought they're going to be a little bit higher than that. So against Huddersfield, who's been shining right now, and with a manager that is proving that he can hang with the other managers, this goalkeeper doesn't seem too bad. He had the save against Salah for Liverpool, so he ended up getting, even though they let in 3 goals, he still got 8 points on the day.
Yeah.
So they're going to let up shots. That's a big thing. We're going to let up shots, and if you can get a clean sheet, you're looking at 7 points, probably 8 points from this guy.
It's kind of like Fabianski has a bit of that character at Swansea about him. You know, he's not on a very good team, but he's a pretty solid goalkeeper, and he gets a lot of action, aka shots, like you were saying. So the more saves he makes, the higher his points. So you might not necessarily have to play for clean sheets, but you play for those saves and then hope he gets bonus points on one of the man of the match awards.
Yeah, you know what? I also start to realize that I'm a little biased when it comes down to goalkeepers, because I usually try to pick goalkeepers under 5. Because this Johannes is also 4.6. He's only owned by 8.5% of the teams. I always find myself selling goalkeepers that are 5.5, a little higher, and always buying a goalkeeper at 4.5. So you see my strategy come out when I give out these tips.
Yep.
Selling. Speak of the devil, we have Czech, who's at 5.4. He's owned by 5.5 in the game. Look, when it comes down to it, let's get this all up. Arsenal, they're facing City away, Spurs at home. I mean, do I really have to say much more than that? Just
walk away for 2 games, guys. Just walk away.
And I'm just going to backtrack.
A little hussy backtrack.
So moving on real quick, we got this risk pick. I was so iffy on this. I don't even know if I'm even happy with this pick. Pickford from Everton. Look, he hasn't got more than 6 points. He got 6 points the first match. He got 4 points the second match. Other than that, he has not got more than 3 points in one single week. But they have Watford at home, Palace away, Southampton away, West Ham home, Huddersfield home. That's 5 teams who struggle to put the ball in the net. And when we talk about Everton, when will they turn it around? It's just finding that right wave for Everton. It could be now. It could be against Palace. I think it's coming soon. I really do. Because if they don't perform well against these next 5 teams, they're in legitimate relegation battle. Yeah. And we're not talking like, oh, no, they'll make their way out of it. No. They're in legitimate problems, and Everton might get relegated.
How crazy. That would be absolutely insane.
It's like Newcastle getting relegated.
It's worse than that because a billionaire just came in and infused them with money. They spent 130 mil in the summer buying, all kinds of pieces. Dude, it would be absolutely nuts if they get relegated. But they're playing like a team who deserves to be relegated right now. But I think they'll clean it up, man. Everton's good for it. I think those players will come together and fix it.
Well, that's why I'm saying Pickford is a risk, because
Absolutely.
if they do turn around the next 5 games, we're looking at a lot of points for the next 5 matchups, and he's 4.9 and he's 6.8% owned by the team. And look, this is going to counter what I'm going to say later on, so keep in mind. But Deeney is suspended, and Everton is home. So that could be playing a couple different things there, because with Deeney, the heart and soul of the team, which also kind of goes against what I'm going to say later, I mean, that could be a big boost. And also being home. I mean, I think this is one of the last sports, because in America, being home and away doesn't actually necessarily matter, I don't think, because there's a lot of times that we see sport teams actually have a better record away from home. I think soccer, or football, if you want to call it, is different sport than other sports there.
Yeah, definitely, man. Especially American sports, where they don't have a section for the away fans. So, your fans are intermingling with the home team fans. So it never really feels like a hostile environment. But in a sport like football, soccer, you got a whole little corner of the stadium where it's your fans. And then you look at that in comparison to the rest of the stadium. Even that image on itself, is intimidating, because you think, oh, there's a small corner right there, but the rest of the stadium wants to kill us. That sort of gets into your head. So, yeah, home and away in football, especially in the Premier League, makes a massive difference. That being said, doesn't mean the home team always wins or is more likely to win, necessarily in every case. You got Burnley, who had a better away record than they had a home record, So, and even this year, actually last year was the other way around. I'm sorry. Last year they had a great home record. This year they have a horrible home record, excellent away record. So it depends, man. It depends. But for the most part, I hear you, Huss. Home field advantage does play a bit more of a factor than most American sports.
Yeah, and I mean, if you just look at 2 teams, I know they're more of the top teams, but if you look at United and Liverpool, United, I don't think, have let in 1 goal at home, and then Liverpool has let in 1 goal at home. I mean, that's astounding, especially for Liverpool's standpoint. We talked about last week, to let in that many goals away, and it's the same core group, but you do it at home. Like, I don't understand how just going to another stadium. I mean, professional soccer players. I mean, why can't you just do it away like you do? But that's another talk for another day. Sorry.
Cool. Let's get into defenders.
Buying. I mean, I was looking at multiple players on this team because I wanted to go for the cheaper option, as I always seem to. Like, whatever. When it comes down to fantasy, or if you talk to Fried and Al, cheap in life. But when it comes down to it, I'm going with some Spurs. I'm going with Vertonghen. I wanted to go see if I can go with Davies or Trippier, but I don't know exactly who's starting, who's not. But Vertonghen, he's almost a complete lock to start, and he's worth paying the extra money for. He's 6 overall, and then he is owned by 7.6% of the game. Look, Tottenham, who do they have coming up real quick? They have Palace at home, Arsenal away. Then you got West Brom, Leicester, Watford, Stoke, Brighton. So except for Arsenal, I mean, this is looking really good for Spurs. We could be seeing a lot of points.
And the cool thing about that pick is that Toby just went out of the game in the Champions League game against Real Madrid, went out injured, grabbing his hamstring. As we record this, we don't know the full extent of his injury, but I would keep a close eye on the newspapers or, the news websites to figure out how long Toby's out. The longer he's out, the higher Vertonghen's stock is going to go. He's absolutely underrated, dude. After watching him against Real Madrid, watching him this season, watching him the last 2 seasons, Tottenham's had the best defense in the Premier League the last 2 seasons, which means it's not a fluke anymore. It's not luck. There's just something tactically that Pochettino is getting right, and those players are absolutely blossoming for him. Vertonghen, I think, is going to be one of the best defenders in the world. Unfortunately, he doesn't play that way. There's not a lot of, finesse and prettiness and bravado to his game, so he doesn't attract a lot of eyes while he's playing. He just quietly does his job. But, man, I love that Vertonghen shot.
Yeah, no, you made a huge shout out with Auto Builder. I was going to bring up Toby for the fact that I was even looking at Sanchez to get that low, but he's priced at 6. I mean, that's so high for a first-year defender. I mean, how is Sanchez priced at the same as Toby and
why? Because that system works, man. Kevin Wimmer, who they sold this summer, was looking super promising, was looking like he was going to be a stud. Why? Because he was in that system. As soon as he leaves in that system, leaves Tottenham, gets exposed, man. He's not that good. He might be one day, but he looked a lot better at Tottenham than he does at his current club. I think Stoke, if I'm not mistaken. You got to fact check me on that. But it's the system, man. Davinson Sanchez came in out of nowhere from Ajax. Obviously killed it at Ajax. The main story with him was, he should have waited 1 year, or at least some of the reports are saying it's too early of a move. The kid looks better than he looks an equal to Toby and Vertonghen right now. I would love him at United. I'm sure you'd love him at Liverpool. Arsenal could use a guy like him as well. He's absolutely brilliant, man, and it's a credit to Pochettino for respecting that back line and sort of giving him that instruction to keep these clean sheets, man. It's brilliant.
I mean, you don't have to really explain to me about systems because we have Lovren, who looked like a superstar at Southampton, and then he comes over and it's like, what the hell?
Yeah, that's true, man.
Wimmer is at Stoke. You were correct on that.
That's
and
right.
Look, guys, if you don't want Vertonghen, if you don't have 6, if you want to take a shot at Davies or Trippier, I mean, it's only saving 0.2 or 0.4, but that's not a horrible shot just because of the fact that they get down the line and they can cross the ball.
Yeah, dude, Tottenham defenders, or, if you're feeling really froggy, Lloris, take a look. Although Lloris looked like he was pulling up a bit in the Champions League game, so maybe Mikel Vorum might get a start. So that could sort of play differently for Tottenham, but that's why you take those risks.
And at first I was like, oh, maybe Rose will get back, but he's a waste of time because he's priced at 6.4. I mean, that's outrageous. I mean, he did good last year, but
no defender, cheaper than 6.
Yeah. So moving on, Keep Lascelles, Newcastle. This guy, we brought him up multiple times. I was looking at a few different defenders. I was looking at maybe even Yedlin because he can play on the outside. But he just seems like he's the guy. He's the guy for Newcastle right now. He gets the goals in the back. He almost looks like a version of what Swansea had in Ashley Williams. He just got random goals here and there. Not too many, but he's there, and he's a big body dude. He can just defend straight up.
Yeah, he's a beast, man. He's a beast for that team, and he's a super young kid, too. I think 23 years old, captaining Newcastle United, man. That says a lot for the manager to trust such a young guy to lead all these, older, more established players. This kid plays with heart, man. He got 2 goals in 2 weeks, a couple match days ago. So, look, Newcastle's up in the air. You never know how they're going to do, but this year it looks like they're going to finish mid-table, so they're going to get results, and they got the pieces for that too.
Yeah, and it's he's only ranked priced at 4.7, so it's not that horrible.
Yeah,
and
that's reasonable. He probably started at 4.5 and it's gone up 0.2 just to give you guys an idea of this kid's progress.
I am almost positive. I'll check that right now. And yes, you were correct. He was at 4.5, but it took him 5 weeks to go up to 4.6, which, well, I thought it took a little bit while. But all right, well, you get the 1 point first and second week, so I guess. But after that, he got 16 points, 15 points, 8 points. He also got another 6. He also is owned by 12.8% of the crowd. This is the guy that I think you need to buy if you want Newcastle, because if you look at Newcastle's schedule, you got Bournemouth at home, United away, which is going to be really tough, and they'll probably lose that one. But then you got Watford at home, West Brom away. So out of the 4 matchups, you got 3. So you can even bench him because he's so cheap.
Yeah, absolutely. I love it.
Selling. This one hurts a little bit because I thought we might have found a guy. I bought into the hype the first couple weeks. What does he have? He had 31 points first 5 games, and he had 5 points in the last 5 games. I think I bought him in like the 4th or 5th week.
You just missed the wave.
His name is Higazi.
He's killing me too, Huss. He's killing me too.
And you know what? He's not just killing us. He's killing 22% at the moment.
Jesus.
And That at one point was up to 35%, I believe. I'm double checking that right now because I remember seeing him up there.
Yeah, while you check that, man, I think it's time. It's time to dump this guy. And watch, he's gonna probably score 2 goals this weekend, but the numbers aren't there to justify it. I've been watching West Brom trying to figure out why this dude is not scoring, or or why he was scoring. Is there, does Tony Pulis all of a sudden have center backs attacking? Like, what is going on there? And looking at the team, like, it was just set piece goals. There's not much to his game. Excellent defender, absolutely good defender. But like, as far as clean sheets, I don't know if West Brom are good for clean sheets this year. And as far as goals from that center back position, I don't know if he's good for it this year either.
You know what? I'm looking at the selected by, and he wasn't. Look, he was selected by 90,000 first week because no one really knew who he was, and then 500,000, 5,500. So that was there. But after the 5th week, it only went from like 1.4 million down to 1.1 million. So there's still a lot of people. It's actually pretty much 1.2 million that still own him, which I don't understand.
Well, we're one of those 1.2, Huss.
That's true.
What do you mean you don't understand? You're doing it right now.
I know.
We just have to wake up. That's what it comes down to. Look, me and you, our strategies are pretty similar. I'm a little bit more aggressive about it, but we like to stack up our attacking players and sort of ride the luck with the defensive players. That's what I've been doing so far this season, and it's worked on weeks here and there, but overall, I think I need to start respecting that back line a little bit more, putting in, some 5.5, maybe some 6.0 value players in there.
Well, last year I had Alonso last year because he was up the wing, and it was almost like what we saw with Gareth Bale. What is it? 6 years ago when we were doing Yahoo Fantasy, and I think Fareed actually made a shout out for that guy. I was like, oh, he's a defender, but he kept scoring. And he kept moving up forward.
Pause, man. It's so crazy that people forget that this dude started as a left back and goes to Real Madrid as one of the most expensive wingers in the world. Like, how crazy is that, man? That's an awesome story for him.
Well, that's also what happens when you have Olympic time speed on your sprint.
Yeah, right. You can't waste that in the back line.
Yeah, but I mean, that's the philosophy I have for anyone out there. Defenders, I'm always looking for 2 things with defenders. 1, are they playing midfield or even further up? And 2, if they're not, try to buy the cheapest player who plays all the time on a really good defensive squad. A lot of times you can find them on a West Brom where they're not going to score many goals. But you might be able to find a 4.5, which this guy, when we bought him, was probably 4.9 for you, was 4.9 for me.
Yeah.
If he kept on getting those points, we're looking at a great, probably top 10 defender for under 5, and that's what you're trying to find. You're trying to find those little treasures here and there.
Davies was that value for me last year. I snuck in with Davies last year on Tottenham. Absolute stud, and Tarkowski as well did pretty good for me last year. So yeah, I'm with your tactic, man. Try to find those value defenders.
Well, we talk about all the time where you basically know who the top 4, top 5 players are. You're gonna try to pick. I mean, the Agueros, the Harry Kanes, Lukaku, Hazard, Alexis Sanchez, all those type of players. Everyone's going to try to get those. It's about picking the right ones which week. But it's the ones you can find. Pascal Gross, just those little treasures. If you can find them for under 5, under 6, that you can buy more of the top players, that's the key.
Yep, absolutely. All right, next one.
Next one, risk pick. Kyle Naughton. Notin. Nothing. I went like Spanish on him.
Kyle Notin.
The one time I throw a little flair into it. Look, this guy, he is 4.6, priced at 4.6, owned by 5.7%. Look, Hampton defensively better away. But when it comes down to it, he plays further up the field. That's all it comes down to it. I don't know why I said Hampton. It was Swansea. Sorry, Swansea defensively better away, and then Naughton, they plays further up the field. It's almost like a wing back. Because if you actually look at the heat map from last match, his hottest spot was actually on the offensive half.
Yeah.
So at 4.6, exactly 4.6. he's not a bad shout going against Brighton and then Burnley and then Bournemouth, because after Chelsea you get Stoke and West Brom. So this guy, he might slip in a goal here and there, or maybe an assist with a cross. You never know.
Cool.
Moving on to midfielders. I mean, I don't even want to like spend that much time on him because we all know who he is. I almost went for a couple other players because Eriksen. I was going to go with Eriksen, but I didn't want this an overloaded Spurs, basically just bowing down to Spurs on fantasy because they have some good matchups. And I'm not. It's not because I'm a Liverpool fan, but you got to go with Salah. Again, this guy, he just does it. He's exactly like what Mane last year.
Yeah, he produces, man. He produces. Yeah. There's no denying it. I think so far he's absolutely the best EPL signing. Obviously, Lukaku has a shout in there, but man, he's producing, dude. He was brought in to do a job. He's doing a job. It's impressive.
And actually, at the beginning of the year, I was like, oh, how is he already priced at this? And I was all mad because I was hoping I was going to get some sort of steal. But no, 36.1% on him. And it's probably only going to rise. But the big thing is he plays every single game. And that's one of the big things about Klopp is that's why people get injured. You play them. Look at Harry Kane right now with Spurs. He got injured. And when he comes back, he still looks a little flimsy. So even playing against Real Madrid, we don't even know if he's going to play against Crystal Palace because he's still looking a little shaky right now. Because rest, but he is on fire. But it's the same story as Mane. So if he does play, you have to pick him up.
Cool. Love it.
Keep. I'm going with Watford's guy, not Decore, because I went with him last week. I went with him last week, and he failed me miserably. So I'm going with the Rick Carlson, the guy who seems to be lacking clinicalness when the team needs it.
Clinicality.
Yes. But he's a little bit more expensive than Decore, or Decore, what do you want to call it? Is it Decore?
It's Decore, bro. It's a little action.
Okay, so hey, I'm getting a little better.
There you go. You are.
Last week, I think I called him Decor. Run to the Decor. So he's 6.4 priced, and then he is 16.4% owned by. Look, I already went through this with you a little earlier. For you guys that don't know, Watford is 4 wins, 2 draws, and 1 loss when Deeney plays 79 minutes or less. When Deeney plays more than that, they have 0 wins, 1 draw, and 2 losses. Now, I'm not saying Deeney is the problem because he did get on the field when to get the goal against Arsenal to win that game, and then he also got the assist to get the win for Swansea. So when it comes down to it, is Deeney actually the best situated player to start, or is he just better to come on after 60 minutes? But we're going to – okay.
Oh, sorry. I was going to say he might not even play this weekend. He's been charged by the FA for violent conduct with a spat, for that spat he had with Joe Allen. So he might not even be available.
Oh, no, he definitely isn't available. He's suspended till November 28th. That's something I was going to get into. But right now, we're going to see what Watford's made of when he's not available. He wasn't available. Let's get into it real quick. He wasn't available for the first 2 games. They tied Liverpool 3-3, and they won against Bournemouth 2-0 because I believe he was injured. But then they tied Brighton, and he only had 7 minutes, and then they won against Southampton, and he only had 6 minutes. Then he got the assist when he only played 4 minutes. So when it comes down to it, it's almost seeming like Deeney, I don't know if it's because he's a larger guy or maybe this team's changing because maybe they have more technical players or something. I don't know. Maybe he's getting not so much phased out, but is he just becoming a really good 12th man?
Yeah, man. I mean, he's on the twilight of his career. He never had the best fitness. You know, he can play 90 minutes, but he never had that great fitness. You can tell by his body. But, yeah, man, I mean, it's a matter of evolution. The manager at Watford is more of a ball-playing guy, more of a movement guy, fast-paced guy. So, man, yeah, I think it's a matter of time before Deeney's completely phased out. Plus these antics are not good for team morale, not good for team spirit, not good for what Watford is trying to achieve and what is, their best season that I can remember in recent history.
Yeah, I mean, it also comes down to the fact that I don't want to say that he's out of the team anyways for two reasons. One, he's the heart of the team. He is. No question about that. And two, when we interview him, I don't want him choking me like Joe Allen.
You mean trying to pop your head? He wasn't even choking. It was just head popping, just digging those thumbs into his cheeks. It was the most maniacal thing I've seen in a while. I almost rather see a 2-footed stud tackle. I understand that more than trying to drive your thumbnail into a guy's face. But hey, man, Joe Allen thought he could step up, pick the fight, and Deeney wasn't having it. Next
Joe
one.
Allen's an idiot. Real close, if you don't like Rickarlison, a real quick shout out for Keith Ishikiri or Chopo Moting both from Stoke. They have a really good fixture list, so I'm just going to throw that out there for you. But let's get to sells.
Cool.
Selling Aaron Moy, whatever you want to call him.
Moy, bro.
Huddersfield there. What is it?
Moy.
Oh, it is Moy? Okay.
Yeah.
So I said it. I want to say it twice. Moy or Mooey, just in case. But
nope, it's Aaron Moy. There's no Mooey.
Mooey, Mr. Cow. So look, Huddersfield. They have West Brom at home, Bournemouth away. That's not horrible, but they also have City, Arsenal, Everton, right? And you know what? I say even Everton because I think Everton's going to be turned around by December 2nd. And it just, I don't know. I feel like Huddersfield, they're not going to be scoring goals. I think we are looking at a 0-0, maybe 1-1 tie against West Brom, and we're looking at maybe a 1-0 win, maybe a 0, or maybe even a loss against Bournemouth. I'm not very confident. This is a gut pick for me. For being priced at 5.6 and owned by 8.1. 5.6, you can buy somebody else. You really can't. Look, Shaqiri's at 5.9. Chopo Moting, he's less than that, I believe. So I would say move on from Aaron right now.
Cool. Forwards. Risk pick. Oh, my bad.
Yeah, no worries.
I'm excited about the forward talk.
Even though that we talked about this guy being priced so well for the talent that he is, because he's one of, if not the best player in the league, it's Eden Hazard. He's risk right now. He's priced at 10.6, which is undeniably outrageously good. He's only owned by 5.2%, but Chelsea are playing Man United at home. I mean, Stamford Bridge, true, we went into United. They haven't let in many, if not any goals at Old Trafford, but United, they're so defensively sound that it's going to be very hard for Chelsea to score. But that's when it gets down to it. When Chelsea and United play, it just seems like Hazard doesn't so much have United's number, but he look last year when we saw Herrera get the red card.
Yeah.
He just picks at him, and with no Pogba in the middle to just run around, Herrera's there again, so maybe Hazard goes after him again. And you never know. This is one of those games that Hazard might just blow up and get 3 goals, but because it's United, I have to put him as a risk pick.
I dig it. Yeah, man, it's tough to predict these games between the top opponents, but yeah, that's a fair shot. That is risky as hell, though.
Yes, my next pick. Also, well, we're getting to strikers now.
Yeah, strikers, and we're talking buy.
And this one is not so much. It's a risk only because I don't know if he's going to play. But honestly, going against Crystal Palace, is there anyone else that we can pick than Harry Kane right now?
Yeah, I mean, if he's healthy, again, like we said earlier, keep your eye on the news and the reports. He seemed a little sluggish this game, like Huss was saying in episode 199. He wasn't his sprinting self. Still, played almost the full 90, was very, very active and involved in the game, but was missing that edge. So it's a big game this weekend for Tottenham. Do they necessarily need Harry Kane to win it? No. But they're in a championship around a title chase. So Harry Kane might be forced to play, and who else better to play than struggling Crystal Palace?
Yeah, I mean, if I was Poch right now, look, one of the things that you have to do when it comes down to a top player that just puts the team first, you have to slow them down. We talked about it with Arson, with Alexis Sanchez. If he's hurt with that ankle, he still wants to play 90 minutes. Sometimes you just have to have a talk and like, look, we need you for the long run. Crystal Palace is not the team we need you for 90 minutes. So I would even suggest starting with Son and moving on and maybe bringing him in the 60th, 65th minute if you're tied.
Dude, sorry, I was going to say I would love to see Llorente get in there. The few minutes he had against Real Madrid, controlling the ball and laying it off, that would be huge.
Yeah, I mean, so right now that's such a risk pick, but I had to do buy because if he plays, no one's even close. No one's even close to being a better buy than that. You have to go for that.
Cool.
But keep. I think we're gonna say the same thing. Keep looking at. You're gonna say keep for the striker. I was gonna say keep looking at the news just in case, like last week.
2 birds, 1 word.
I thought we were on the same page.
Almost. We're on the same word. That's kind of cool. That's something, right?
That's actually harder to be on the same word with different sentences.
Right. Boom.
All right. So keep. We already talked about this during the matchups. It's just a little soft spot for me because I just love the fact that he is just feisty. He's a fast guy. He just has a monster boot. Jamie Vardy. He's only 8.6, owned by 14.9. You got Leicester coming in with Stoke, going away to Stoke. Then they got City. Then they got West Ham. Then they get Spurs. Then you got Burnley, Newcastle, Southampton, Palace. So when it comes down to it, he's so inexpensive that you can still keep him for City and Spurs, and you can pick up another midfielder and try to be competitive in that. Because Vardy, if he gets on a hot streak, we already started. He literally holds the record for the most goals in a streak for how many games?
Yeah, 11 games. He broke Van Nistelrooy's record.
And if him and Mahrez start clicking again, we're looking at points galore. Right,
and it's looking like Mahrez is waking up from his slumber. It's looking like he's accepted the fact that for the next year his life is at Leicester. Next summer, I can almost guarantee he leaves. He's too good for that club. No offense to Leicester and their fans, but he's a different level, man. He's absolutely a different level, and he's showing it in his professionalism. I adore that when I see that in players because, man, most of the time these clubs are paying you 6 figures, maybe 5 if you're not that good. Okay, you wanted to leave, I get it, but you're still like it's a job, you know. It's football to us. It's love, it's passion, but you're still getting paid to do a job. And the last thing you want to see are those grumpy players who refuse to play for the club because they wanted to leave. Berahino is a guy who comes up, recent memory. You know, he absolutely derailed his career because he was stubborn. Now, he had every right to be. You know, you can't be forced to play for a club you don't want to play for. But at the same time, it's like you got decisions to make. So Mahrez, he's taking it in stride, man. I think he's playing for a new club next summer. And I think because of that, Vardy's going to directly benefit from his production. I mean, you saw the assist they got together last week with that brilliant counterattack when Demarai Gray ran it through Everton's heart and laid it off to Mahrez to square it to Vardy. I mean, that looked like vintage Leicester. And I agree with you, Huss. I think that's slowly coming back.
But it's not only that, but I mean, I agree with everything you said because you were completely correct.
I'm always correct.
You're like 99%. No. But it's also last year, we didn't see a team react after a minute of change more than Leicester. Leicester changed everything. They looked like they might have been even relegated, and they just went on a winning streak. Yeah. So right now they have another manager coming in who is a top manager. I don't care if he just got fired last year. He's a top manager in my book. I'm talking.
Who are we talking about?
Frank de Boer. So he's what, top? I think he's top 15 in the world for me, and that's a top manager for Leicester. So when it comes down to it, if you expect that same type of run, Leicester very well might just start winning games 1-2-0, and Vardy's going to be on the end of a lot of those, more than 50%, I would think.
Definitely.
All right, and then sell Lacazette. I hate it because I have him in the fantasy draft with the podcast crew. I don't have him in the regular fantasy. He's only priced at 10.4. owned by 13.8%. Look, if you're looking for a cheap buy, just don't buy him right now. In the 2 weeks, he's playing City and Spurs, like we talked about. After that, you got Burnley, Huddersfield, United, Southampton, West Ham, Newcastle. That's when you want to buy him. Maybe not even against – actually, no, those are even hard games. Burnley and Huddersfield, those are also tough games.
Yeah,
so I'd
absolutely.
say maybe wait another 5 weeks, go after Southampton, then West Ham, then Newcastle. That's where I think Lacazette's really going to start producing. Because he hasn't been bad at all, but it's just he hasn't been as good as other forwards. I mean, it's just supply and demand when it comes down. Well, not supply and demand, but
hot hand.
Yeah, hot hand, survival of the fittest almost. Because I talked about like the 5 forwards that you can't really go wrong with, and him and Gabby Jesus are almost 4 and 5 because they haven't been as good as Aguero, Lukaku, and Harry Kane. So after that, we have risk. This might be the risk of the week. He's priced at 5.9, owned by 0.1% of the game.
Oh boy. Oh boy. This is a mess. 0.9, not even 1% of the people playing own this guy.
0.1%.
Wow. How far down did you have to scroll your mouse to get down to him?
I didn't have to go very far because I knew who he was, and I've been watching him. Look, I have a soft spot for this guy too, and I talked about him this week. But with Josh King out right now and Afobe being a little hurt, and maybe he's 75% right now with a groin injury, and Defoe, he just gets subbed off. He just gets subbed off
at halftime. Yeah.
So we might see the reemergence of Callum Wilson from Bournemouth.
Ooh, I like that. I like that.
This guy produces when he plays. I mean, when he plays for Bournemouth without injuries. But again, he's Bournemouth's version of Sturridge, Daniel Sturridge.
Yeah, dude.
I mean, he plays, he does well. 3 weeks, 4 weeks. That 5th week, he pulls up for a hammy or pulls up for something. It's like, it's too bad because I really believe in this type of player because I really do like him. I do have a soft spot for him. I think that he did so much for Bournemouth that he deserves by the soccer gods to just stay healthy for one full season, see if he can get a huge contract somewhere. But right now he's only priced at 5.9. So I mean it's not a horrible shout for price standpoint, but don't expect him to play more than 60 minutes. So I could very well see even see Defoe playing 60 and Callum Wilson playing 30 or all the way around. That's why it's the risk pick. You don't know.
Love it. And that wraps it up for the buy, keep, sell risks for the week. Let us know if you have questions, comments, you want to get involved, you wondering who you should play, who you should pick up. Let us know, and we'll do our best to hook you guys up. Before we wrap up, let's finish up with captain suggestions for the week. Bussington.
I feel like we do this every week where I always hate to be the cliche dude. And you're like, just pick the right person. I'm going with Salah. This guy's just been on fire.
He's a beast, man. He's an absolute beast. I'm going to go with – this one's a tricky one because he scored 2 goals against Real Madrid. But I'm going to say Dele Alli. Dele Alli. I think if you have him, captain this kid. He's a little warm right now. He's finally match fit. He's starting to score goals. This kid scores in bunches. Look, I hope he gets goals this weekend. If he's on my team, I'm captaining this kid.
Oh, I like that shout. You know what? As we talked about before with City, you have to have 3 players from City in your team.
Good shot, bro.
But you know what? I mean, have 3 from them. Might even have 3 from Spurs. Have 6 players between City and Spurs. I know you're going all in. But
let us go all in. But you know what? It's not a bad all in to go on, dude.
Oh, man, because they're so good.
Yeah, Pepper and Lukaku in there. Maybe Morata if he gets warm. Sanchez or Hazard. Well, everyone else is City and Spurs. 6 players of the 11.
Lukaku and Sanchez you might not be able to afford because you might have Harry Kane. So Morata, Hazard because he's 10 point, whatever.
Just buy Rangel in the back line. I think he's 3.9 right now. Just go all out attack, dude. All out attack. Buy like $3 defenders who never play, and then just hope the other guys carry your team and make up for those guys who aren't playing.
Yeah, just buy that dude.
Right.
Buy the shittiest guy that never plays the goddamn game. But I guess at the same time, I did read an article that said, like, if you just picked the right team and the right captain every week, you would never had to make a sub, and you would have won the entire Premier League, PremierLeague.com fantasy, the proper game, as they say. You would have won the whole thing last year if you picked the starting 11, the correct starting 11, and the right captain every single week.
Yeah, and by starting 11, they mean like on day one, you just pick that 11 and never make a trade the rest of the season. You just pick those 11 guys, and there was a team that could have done that and rode all the way through. So,
Or
yeah,
substitution.
or substitutions. Yeah, having the right bench as well. So, yeah, man, it's not necessarily a game of picking up every week. That's why they give you one transfer per week, because they want you to adopt that long-term thinking. That's why when Huss gives his brilliant analysis, he'll talk about matchups and what's coming up the next 4 or 5 games around the corner. So that's something you got to factor in. Example, this past week, I picked up Lacazette for Kane when I found out Kane wasn't playing. Captain Lacazette, it blew up in my face, but that's fantasy. That's fantasy life, man. You're making all these moves trying to get those 60, 70 points every week. So we definitely appreciate you guys listening to the show. We appreciate the support. The numbers are going through the roof, iTunes rankings, all that good stuff. Please keep supporting us. Let us know if you have questions. Tell your friends to join. I think, man, I keep saying we're going to close this league. I think I'll buy you guys another 1 or 2 match days to get in there. We want to make sure everyone's involved, everyone's having fun, everyone's having a blast. So thanks for listening, guys. Bus, anything else?
I mean, it's one of those things where I'm just getting beaten up in this league. I just keep leaving like anywhere between 10, 15 points on the bench each week. So it's there. I'm coming for you guys. Don't you worry. I don't care what place I'm in. I'm only 60 points behind. I mean, that's just one good triple captain away from being in the lead.
It's all about match day 38, where you are on that day. So, yeah, we're going to have ups and downs, good weeks, bad weeks. But we're in it for the long haul. And on match day 38, we'll see exactly how we did. Thanks for listening, guys. We will catch you on the next episode. Peace.
Later.